All right. Have you ever heard the saying third time's a charm? Because this is the third time I'm recording this video. Managed to screw it up to where I didn't have video, or not video, I didn't have audio, I didn't have music, just whole nine yards. So everything was kind of screwy. Finally sorted it out. OBS can be an adventure. So last week I did a video, and at that time, what I was working on was these strips for the cap rail and right underneath it, underneath the frieze. Since then, I've painted the top rail red, down a little bit down into the boat, and then I painted the bottom of the boat white. Bottom can be either white or left natural wood. I wanted the white, going to leave the natural wood below that, and then I've done the top rail, or the edging on the top rail and the strip below it, as well as the frieze. Added some strips to the front here because it just looked right to me, and then the frieze on the back, as well as stripping around here. I think that looks a whole lot better than it would without it. Hopefully it isn't going to interfere with the rudder when I put it on here. So after that, once that was all done, and I think I did that last Sunday on the Hobby Time Modelers live stream. After that, I put the rails, or the floorboards down. There's the one that's in the center is longer, or it's wider. The four on the outside are narrower, and they were a little bit interesting to get glued down. First one went down without any problem. Just glued it down using super glue because, I don't have any quick setting white glue. And then I glued each one, did the full glue on each one. A little bit of super glue. What I had to do was glue it down and twist it a little bit to get it to actually line up where it's at, because the tendency is, and you can see it here at the ends where these actually have come in together, the tendency is for them to curve in because of the curve of the boat. Did a little bit of sanding on the first one, didn't seem to need it, so I pressed on without that. After that, I did the front and the fore and aft decking, raised decking here. And how I did that is in the plans. Let me get them real quick. So the plans show those areas here and here, but they don't, and it tells you to cut those out or trace them or something. I used my printer, I photocopied that, cut it out, and then I cut the strips to length, and I glued the strips to each other and to the paper, so the paper is actually underneath there where you can't see it, and it gave a little bit more structure. But I glued these strips to it, and then I cut them out, sanded them, did a little bit of filing to get them to fit where I had to get the spars in, and then glued them in. Subsequent to that, I then did this top rail, or not this top rail, but this, I forget what they called it, but this is a support on the, you can see that one strip running for the full length. That is the support for these slats that go across, as well as the seats back here in the back. One of the things I did modify that I'm not doing, the seats, I actually started with one of them, had one of them completely done, and realized it was too far forward, so I had to redo one. Unfortunately, they provide you with extras of everything. You can see these four pieces that are missing here. These are the seats. This is the top of the cabinet that's there, and that's where I modified it. I'm not going to put a hinge on here and try and have the cabinet able to be opened. Just too much. To me, it's a little bit too much effort to do that. And then, once these were in, I put these slats in. I put 7 out of the 8 because I had to build this one. This one's actually built out of a wider piece of strip than these are. These, I think, are 1/8, and this is 5/16 or 5/32, something. Or It doesn't matter. It's a wider strip because I had to sand this part in the front and back down, and this was actually my third attempt at doing this. This one on the Hobby Time Modeler stream last night, Friday night, I broke it as I was building it. Really was kind of upset, and that's when I was like, I'm done with this for tonight. You can see there where it has the rounded gap for the mast, and where I was starting to work on the other side, and that's when it broke. This morning I did another one. I actually sanded it, and I realized that I had sanded the wings of it too thin. So this was my third attempt. And then once I got this built, once I got it cut the way I wanted it, and was able to fit the mast, that I cut a piece off the mast so that I could use it as a template, but could fit the mast in there. I then had to cut these little brass strips, and those are 1/32 of an inch wide. Cut the little brass strips, cut the first one, rounded it to fit the mast. There's a little bit of a gap in there. When I put it together, I will fill that with glue or maybe some wood putty just so that it fully fills the hole here. Bent it across here, and then I bent these other two, cut these other two, bent them to fit so that you can see it's holding the mast. It'll hold the mast relatively well. And then you can see the brass belaying pins. They could be made of wood. The kit came with 4 brass ones. I dropped one actually and was able to find it, but I had to drill holes so that the belaying pins would fit in there, and they are super glued in. They said to paint them to look like wood. I think they actually look great the way they are. So that's where we're at right now, and moving forward, I'll be working on the windlass, which they say cut a piece of this stick to fit, and then do some woodworking on it, make parts of it 8-sided while most of it or other parts are going to be 4-sided. Cut square holes in here for the pegs that are going to be used to rotate this, put a pin in either side, and then get it down inside here. That's going to be interesting because this is supposed to actually be able to rotate once it's done. So that's where I'm at this point. That's what's coming up. Either some today, maybe some tomorrow on the Hobby Time Modeler stream, noon Central Time. So hope you guys are enjoying this build. I am loving it. When I first got the kit, I was like, this is going to be a pretty simple little kit, knock it out really quick. Finally started working on it because I'm about ready to do the black pearls planking on the hull, and I want to finish this before I start back on the black pearl. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow I'll be on the Hobby Time Modeler stream. May not do this, may work on the Lisbon tram, which I need to do a video on that because anybody who hasn't watched the Hobby Time stream doesn't know anything about that tram. So that's where I'm at. Expect another video probably next Saturday. Not positive. I may make one before then. Have a great day. Like and subscribe if you like this content. Ring the bell or hit the bell for warnings when I actually release content. Like I said, like and subscribe. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on YouTube and Facebook. See what's going on. And we will talk to you next time.